Welcome to another episode of the Robbie Maxx podcast. I never use these sounds.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I could program them to have like, I can make them my own sounds. Let me just fix this real quick.
I'm taking my shoes off. I'm getting comfortable.
Get comfy. Oh yeah, we're locked in.
Hey.
Episode 26. You're 26. Not years old. Episode 26. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
How sick would it be?
Oh, 26 was a good year.
26 was a good year. I wish I had this mentality at 26. I wish I was this mature. Well, no, mature is a bad, immature.
I think we both had that at 26, but take 26 for what 26 is.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't regret. I don't look back and do any of that shit.
No.
But it's crazy being 36 and thinking what 26 is.
Well, that's that concept going back in retrospect for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
10 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah. 22 would be 10 years for me.
22.
Fresh out of college.
Fresh out of college. Yeah.
Also fresh out of college.
Yeah. Yeah. You're still fresh out of college.
Still fresh out of college.
These mics up just a little bit. There we go. A little better. Right? Here, talk.
Hey.
We're here. Jade.
Hey.
Sis.
Bro.
Bruh. Sis. So, yeah, this is overdue.
Yeah.
We talked about it a bunch. This was almost not going to happen today, which is fine because we were going to do it eventually anyway.
Yes.
But this would be a cool, because we're going to be down the shore for a week together. You're going down for 2 weeks, but I'll be down for a week. Yes. And we'll get a good convo in before we bring in the family too. Because I'm going to bring down everything and we're going to
throw it down.
We're going to throw it down.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome to your brother's podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I know people refer you as Robbie.
To you now.
You are Maxx.
I am Maxx. Mom would agree.
This is my brother, Maxx.
Mom would agree. Dad's the only one that's teetering on, Robbie.
The differing artistry with being musicians. I get it.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that it's kind of like a play on his name. And my middle name is his first name. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're locked in.
Yeah.
I expect it's going to be a shorter episode, unfortunately, just because we have to move around. But you pulled up. Mm-hmm. We're pressing record, and we're going to get to it.
We're here.
We're here. I'm excited to share with people the depth of what our conversations typically are. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I have an idea. Mm-hmm. But now they're going to see the dynamic of me and you. So we've been brother, sister. Forever.
At least for me, forever.
Not me forever.
Yeah, I don't know life without you. So that's.
I really don't either, though.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. No, I don't know life without you. I recently saw something online that said how your siblings, it's like they're the people that you have throughout your whole life, from start to finish. You go through everything together, So when you look at dynamics of different relationships, as far as family, mother, father, aunts, uncles, even partners in life where you create your own family, your siblings are really with you from start to finish. And I think that's, it's such a sentiment to our relationship as brother-sister.
Brother-sister. We were pretty good brother-sister. Like, I hear people, like, obviously brothers and sisters or siblings in general, they have shit. I hear complaining and this and that. And like, this is totally from my perspective, and you can piggyback off of this however you want. Like, never any shit?
No.
I don't think we've ever, like, we've had tiffs. But usually in the moment stuff, like about a topic of conversation, not like, I'm mad at you for.
I think our tiffs, and you can also, we'll do this.
Yeah, we'll do all this. Is going to be a lot of back and forth.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's going to be a lot of back and forth.
But neither of us want to say anything that's, but this I do feel that we both can agree with is, I think that any tiffs that you and I have been really to challenge each other.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I have ever looked at each other with judgment, with malice. It's always been wanting to, I think you specifically for me have always wanted better for me. Mm-hmm. I think that I also have wanted best for you. And the dynamic as far as, yes, you're my older brother, I'm your younger sister, but I think that you and I have a very good understanding of, regardless of dynamic, just wanting the best for each other.
Period.
And wanting to push each other forward.
Yeah, and without it being wildly opinionated, like, I think you should do this. Like neither one of us has come to each other and been like, hey, listen, this is, you're fucking up or you're this. It's never been like that.
No.
It's usually like we give each other so much space to do and be free because we're both very, like we are obviously, if you know the both of us.
Yes.
We are kind of the very simple, like we are almost the same person.
Yes.
In so many ways, like the way we party, the way we interact with people, personalities, you know, like we have our differences, don't get me wrong, but like pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. I think for you and I, it's interesting. I think we absolutely are very similar and we do have our differences, but I think the thing that everybody would agree with is that we have this ability to go out into the world and be very optimistic.
Correct.
And it's such a beautiful thing. But I think too, this is something that we as siblings also understand is behind the scenes and the things that we've gone through within ourselves is something that is also very relatable. And I think that because of certain things that we've been through, I think we have that ability to go out into the world with such optimism and with perspective. And
we do.
Yeah.
I think we've always been optimistic people, like always looking the glass half full, you know. We both came into ourselves as time went on and became more comfortable in our own skin in regards to like what we want out of life and who we are as people. And, you know, I do think we've navigated the world the same way the next does. But like when push comes to shove, me and you know, when we go anywhere or we are places, we don't bring our bullshit.
No.
Never have. And it's funny because that's there's such a, and I guess this is for everybody, but you know, we'll speak on behalf of ourselves. Like nobody knows the behind the scenes, like you mentioned, like behind the scenes and what we've gone through and what we've seen behind closed doors. And, you know, it has been chaotic and it has been a lot of, so I think in many ways we've used the world as like our escape from some things that, you know, we were subjected to without choice.
Yeah.
And the other side too is that what people also don't know is when we lay our head down at night, as positive as we are to you in person, is as troubled and chaotic we are mentally behind closed doors. Because when you're so positive and you're happy and you're bringing light to everybody, like, you know, you're kind of feeding everybody a little bit of your energy because, you know, most people need positivity. Most people aren't like, I don't want to say us, but like us in that regard.
Oh, no,
a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
But then when you have so much energy pulled from you and you feel like you're not getting the same kind of energy back, whether it be from people or situations or, you know, whatever hopefulness you have for the way you want it to be or expect it to be, like it gets fucking heady. And those are the conversations that we've
Well, I said this to you yesterday. It was just as far as when we get into those modes, also making sure that we keep our cup full. You know, we can't rely on others to keep our cup full. We have to, if we feel like our cup is empty, we can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. So making sure that we are, you know, pouring back into our own cup.
Do you think though that, you know, because you're right, you can't expect others to fill that cup, but to it's not combative, but like to combat that or add to that. Do you think it is important though, because of the way we are and how we feed off of the energy of people and being around people? Do you think that it is important at the same time where it's not like I expect you to give me or to fill my cup, but I almost need you for me to fill my cup?
Yeah, I think that depends too, though, on our, I guess, certain relationships that we have with people. I think for me personally, more so, I think too, within the last 2 years, I've really worked on not relying too much on external. Yeah. For me, it's been a lot of internal work and it has been very profound. And I think it has prepared me to get to a place in life where I can lean into somebody, anybody really, and break a little bit, you know, like allowing myself to do that instead of having to put on the optimism all the time.
Face. It's a face to a degree.
It can be a mask sometimes. Sometimes I do feel that is very much an innate energy within ourselves. I think our outlook is very positive. It's always been that way from the time we were young. And, as we've gotten older, we go through things, life hits you, and you start to figure out how to navigate. But as far as just moving forward into that, being open to, it's okay to break sometimes.
It is.
Within a place that you feel safe and you feel held, it's important to do that, whether it be with a friend, a partner, mom and dad, whoever, with each other. That has been super healing for me.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think I've ever asked you. You've always been on, you've always been spiritual. The last few years, you've really tapped into it, and you've been more internalized than I ever remember you being. Same person in public when you're out and about, to be clear. Sure. Like, it's not like you just close and shut the door and fuck like I was never you.
Yeah.
But, I used to remind you a lot, like, hey, listen, if you do, because you tell me, well, I have goals and I want to, what do you think about this? Or what do you think I could do? And I'm always for my belief in you is, it's easier for me to say it than it is for you to believe it the way I do. I don't think you don't believe it, but I think it's just easier for me to express that the same way you do for me. Is it right?
Yeah.
But I have noticed that you've kind of really shifted your mindset. Was there a moment, like, what was that moment where you're like, hey, I really need to, for me, I need to do this. I need to dig.
I'll be honest, I think I've always been digging.
And you have.
Yeah.
But because there has been a difference, though. There's been a difference in the last 3 years.
Sure.
Because I'm a digger, too.
We dig deep.
Purpose is like, like when I lose purpose, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I go deep down the rabbit hole of like trying to figure it out again. But what was there anything? Because you go to school, and I do think you're still finding it for sure. Right.
Yeah.
But you go to school, it's kind of just the routine you're supposed to, you study what you think you want. And then, there's that little bit of a gap, right? And then you go back and you go back to school, because now you're kind of understanding, okay, well, how can I take who I am as a person and not just create a livelihood for myself, but a purposeful livelihood for myself, right? And so you kind of found your way through, and teaching and the psychology, therapy, something that does that is it is attached to people, but it's guided through what you appreciate and what you want to give to them and also receive in return. So like these last 3 years, it seems like you have much more of you have much more clarity as to what you personally want. Maybe not what the job will be that's attached to you or this. So what was the shift? Was it a moment you had to yourself? Was it an actual moment that was out of your control?
That's a really good question. There's layers of it. There's very much like what's matter of fact and what has been very deep.
What's matter of fact?
Matter of fact is, I think when I left undergrad, I always knew I wanted to go back to school. I felt like I didn't get exactly what I needed as far as the education side of that was.
And what was that education? Like what were you looking for? What were you looking to be educated on?
Well, when I was an undergrad, for me, it was the experience. I got to live far away from home. Like that was such a big obstacle in itself. I went through a lot of different things during undergrad. When I look back in retrospect, I'm really kind of stunned with a lot of the obstacles that went on. And by the time it all finished, I realized I kind of did what was good for me at that point in life. And I knew that I wasn't in a place to even make that concrete decision. What exactly do I want to do? I think I always knew I wanted to get into teaching. That's been since I was young. But I just knew I wanted to get back to school and level up in that regard. I just always knew I was going to go back to school. And as much as I had a plan in motion, it never really goes that way.
Yeah.
And so by the time, in that time in between undergrad and going back to grad school, it was very much, being in, at work and, going through my career in teaching and putting myself in a classroom setting and gaining so many tools to become an educator. And it's been a really beautiful experience, but I've also faced a lot of obstacles in that regard. And by the time it came down to it, it was around COVID. I think COVID was a big turning point.
In what way? Like, what did it do to you?
I think everybody can resonate with this, but it definitely took a toll on my mental health. I started to just feel like, what is going on, and not even so much externally. I was feeling that so much inside. And so for me, it was just more or less like, you gotta, like it's now or never, like apply to grad school or don't, but you gotta do something. And a dear friend of mine had given me this program, had shared this program at Teachers College. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that entirely resonates. And I just went for it. And to my surprise, I was stunned that I got in. And it was just, I remember thinking before applying, maybe I will decide not to go. And it was like, as soon as I got that acceptance, I just was like, oh my gosh, no, this is my baby. This is what I've been looking for.
Was it decide thinking that like, oh, maybe I won't go? Was that like, I'm not going to get in, like kind of being pessimistic?
No, because I said to myself, even if I got in, maybe I wouldn't go.
Okay.
It was, I kind of had that mentality of like, maybe I'm not sure, you know, but once it happened and once it was right there, I was like, oh no, you're supposed to go. Like there were other opportunities that had come along the way and would fall through. And this was one that was like, oh no, this is here. It's happening.
In front of you.
You can do this. Yeah. So, and then from that point on, it was like, it was just, hands down, I would say at this juncture in my life, it was probably the most extraordinary experience I've had. Differently, not to say that undergrad didn't have its own, there were so many beautiful things that happened then as far as, how navigating through life in a lot of ways. Yeah. But this was doing a lot of the work that I've just been like putting in a box and putting over there. I was able to really open up the box and be like, let's unpack. Yeah,
I noticed that you got, not being around you as much as I am because we don't live in under one roof anymore. But like, I noticed that you, there was an excitement, right? And the excitement wasn't wrapped around your typical college kid where it's like, last weekend we got lit, you know, like because that you get excited about. Same kind of endorphin kick, you know what I mean? In a different way, obviously, but I've noticed you got excited, like you were very passionate about what it was you were learning. It was obviously intriguing and interesting to you. It obviously was something that you injected yourself into with legitimate purpose. Like I felt like, as much as I would tell you, you can do X, Y, and Z on your own without much, because that's my belief in you. Your headspace during that time was good. It was good for you. It was obvious it was good for you. And so what did you, now you go through post-grad, you get your master's, like, first of all, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Light work. What are they doing?
Well, that's like
poetry. Let's talk poetry.
I'm proud of, we can get into that.
But no, like now from you leave, like what do you feel now? No more school potentially.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and I shared this with you last night because the last couple of days I've been really going through a lot of feelings. And I came to the realization right now, before this summer began, I went on summer break like just a week or two ago. And I have said for the last couple months, probably since graduation, that I was taking this time to really figure it out, you know, figure out what my next steps are. Because everybody's asking me what's next. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like eerie at this point, but it's also something that I'm really having the dialogue with myself about. And I realized now that this time has come and I've been saying like, oh, I'm going to figure this out, you know, around this time, or really sit and marinate with it. I think right now I'm in a little bit of a grieving process, grieving that this was something that I have been dreaming about for so long. And it's a dream that has been fulfilled, and in far more ways than I would have ever imagined. It was so beyond just receiving an education. There was the healing work that came with it. And
was that the dream, or was the dream to have your master's?
It was, the dream was to go back to school and get my master's, and then it ended up being so much more beyond. So I think when I look back on everything, I'm just, those few years leading up to grad school, I would spend so much time alone, and it's going to sound so cliche, but it's not. I would talk to God or the universe and just be like, oh, just please get me to where I'm going. Like, help navigate. Like I was really looking for something bigger to be a compass. And once I got to this place, I realized that it was really, that compass was really like right here. And so, yeah, I think right now it's just, I'm very much honoring what has just happened and how beautiful of the experience that it was, and how can I now take everything that I learned and be in service of others in the way that school was in service of me. You know, it really, it was, like I said, it was just so much more beyond, you know, learning about the science behind spirituality. It was about being in the experience and going through all of it. It was just way bigger than getting a master's. Yeah.
I think it was really good for you to feel that and know that. And also look at, I think it gave you, and not to say you didn't have it already, but like an additional clarity on that experience, as well as every other experience, is exactly what it was supposed to be. And it gives you exactly what it is that you were looking for in that moment. Right. And so, you know, the big question always is, I don't like the blunt, because friends do what family does. Like, what are you doing now? What's next? And they know it's genuine. It's out of curiosity and like, you know, of course. Right. But, like realistically, that's a question for everybody. That ain't a question for because it's attached to, you know, what occupation, or, you know, where you're going to school, or it doesn't have to be attached to a thing. Everybody has a what's next. Yeah. Right. With, you know, so for you now, if I could add, like, what,
what's next?
Not what's next. I'm not going to ask you what's next. No. I was going to say, what was the biggest takeaway from these last few years, without it being got my master's, found myself, or got closer to finding myself? Like, what was the biggest takeaway? What was the thing you learned the most through the process? Now in retrospect.
I would say a big thing, and this is, again, it's going to just sound so simple, but to breathe. Like, just
Jesus Christ.
No, but I say that because and I agree. We're all breathing through life, but just breathing through each moment with intention. You know, it's, and this is coming from somebody who, and I know we can relate on this, but mental health is part of our world. And as a child and into my adulthood, anxiety was something that I faced constantly. And it wasn't until COVID hit that depression came knocking on the door. And so now what happened while I was in school was I was in a place where I was just, it was so entirely present. And I've done a really good job, I think, and you have too. This is part of like the optimism. We are very present people. When we enter spaces, we are present in the moment.
For sure.
But when you are that way, sometimes we can lose sight of other things, you know, not healing from our past, not preparing for the future. And that's something that
you keep yourself distracted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep yourself busy.
Yeah. So for me, it's just been, it's almost felt so good to just be present in a way that is intentional.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's allowed me to heal parts of my past, and it makes me feel very hopeful for the future in a way that I did not really feel up until now. Differently.
So that's the biggest, that'd be that's like your biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
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 No, I agree with that. And we're as similar as we are, as different as we are in this specific space that I'm going to bring up now, but like where I want you to not think too deep or breathe too much because you have to act on the external goals, like whether it be, all right, it's a fucking conversation I've had with many people, but like we make a conscious decision as much as we don't want to believe it to live within the construct that we're in, right? So societal construct, right? So like if I choose to live in this town or this community or around this area, and there's, it costs this much to be there, and like you kind of weigh out all of the reasonings that you are choosing what it is that you're choosing. Some people feel stuck. I understand it, but we have more of a choice than we'd like to admit.
Sure.
We use like the lack of choice or like circumstantial and stuff as a excuse. It's valid, but it's still an excuse. Okay. Technical difficulties. So yeah, what I was saying was we all have, you're right. We were talking about choice, right? So everybody has a choice, and where we differ, even though we're so similar, what I was saying was where, let's say we're both in the same situation where it's like, we don't know where we want to go. We don't, the chips are stacked against us. We're frustrated. We're trying to figure it out, whatever. Like where I will, just do something in regard, like to fill and figure it out that way.
Yeah.
You're much more of an you internalize the situation and think it through. So like I act and try to create situations, and then you are much more in tune with patience and being like seeing this a certain way. And I think there's benefits to both. And we kind of have done this at times. I'll never forget. I remember when you came to me, and I was a little combative because I was going through a lot, personally, right? So I'm trying to figure out business and life and my own purpose and all these different things. And I know I'm active.
It's usually when I come creeping in, when I see that somebody's going through something.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm active. So like, I constantly keep myself busy. I don't like as much as I have found myself to myself, I also don't like sometimes where I go when I'm not doing something.
Yeah.
And my mind gets scattered, distracted. I wind up filling it with terrible things, like mentally, whatever, physically, whatever. And you came to me and you were like, you said like, I want to talk. And I was like, all right. And we sat down, and you asked me a bunch of questions. Then eventually you said, you need to breathe. And I'm like, I do breathe. I do breathe. I'm a breather. I do.
If you were breathing, it wouldn't have even come out that way.
No, it wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like it would have been like a.
Yeah. It was it was a moment for me because I've thought about that in times. I've thought about that where I can be very reactive. I've thought about that and allowed people to, okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes saying less is more,
Yeah.
and oftentimes saying less is more.
For sure.
And so, the one thing I do want for you, and it's like, if we were just to do this, if we were both of us and we went like this, we'd be fucking, it'd be over.
It's funny because with you and I, it's as much as we are similar, that part of us
is the difference.
Is very different.
That's the difference.
And it just goes to show like, it really is quite a balance though, because it has a very yin yang kind of energy of just understanding that like yes, you are like the doer, the go-getter. You will keep going, but sometimes that'll burn out. And with me, I'm somebody who like just light the candle.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's
and that's also, you know, what I was alluding to as well was like, you know, we pick our lives in so many ways more than we give ourselves, more than we are aware of. Most of us, you know, like we have choice. Like we think because we were born here and we're around these people and friends and family and all that stuff that like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be, or or it's just, this is my comfort zone and we don't want to admit it, like whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
Right. And, you know, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I mention it to people when these kind of conversations come up. It's like, because I really genuinely do believe that we are in much more control of our life than we'd like to admit. It also means that, you know, you're stacking up all of your circumstances and your decisions, right? So like for me, for instance, I'll use myself as an example, where one side of my brain will tell me, you know, get in an RV and go.
Yeah.
And don't even think twice. Sure. I would.
Yeah. Oh,
the circumstances are, listen, I'm married.
Yeah.
I have an amazing wife. I have a beautiful young boy, my son, you know, I want to build a family. And so then there's that, right? And these things also bring joy to my life.
Of course.
You know, in abundance. All of the decisions that I've made over the years consciously, you know, all of these decisions have put me in this present moment where I have to factor in all of the aspects of it all, every layer of my life. And this just goes for everybody. This isn't just myself, but it's like, I just go deep in this regard. It's like, I have to factor in every layer of my entire life while keeping myself sane, because I have these desires that go against other people's opinions, what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all of these freaking layers. And when you said breathe, it's like I didn't give myself a chance to think it all through, because every time I would think about it, it was reactive to a moment.
Sure.
To something that came to me, or to something that came across my table or whatever. But I will say, I don't view what keeps me optimistic, period, is that no matter what happens,
it's going to be all right.
Figured out. And that is the go-getter side of me.
Sure.
That is the, you've been here before. And I do believe that when I was, especially when I jumped into the music scene, it really taught me, because I did it early where it was so taboo and so outside the box. It made me believe that, okay, even when there's something that you have zero experience in, but you feel something.
Yeah. Oh.
That if you go and you go and you go, you can create, I mean, it's so much possibilities and like endless opportunities for yourself, no matter what the field is.
Yeah.
That's the thing for you to bring it full circle. That's the thing for you that I do want you to tap into. I think that this experience that you just had going and getting your master's is one of those moments that will show you the fear and the uncertainty and the whatever. You make a conscious decision, you go and you get it.
Yeah, of course.
Look what comes from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's life's crazy. Life is crazy.
Yeah.
Life is crazy. What with that said, if you were to, because I'm curious, you know, we talk about it a bunch between you and I, but like, if you were to do, what is the one thing, because you kind of do have the, in a sense, the freedom to decide.
Yeah.
Right? There is that.
Yeah. I had a really good conversation over the weekend with a friend, and it was one of those conversations was like, okay, like I had to, again, like internalize some things and process. But kind of going to your point before of like how you have to kind of go through the levels and understand like what decisions you can make based off of where
your
you're at.
Circumstances, yeah.
Your circumstances. I've almost like set myself up with like a blank canvas in a way of not having to be so attached to anything. Like I'm not in a relationship. I'm still with mom and dad. I have this freedom to really
It's a
explore.
crazy freedom.
It is I think sometimes it's overwhelming.
You really, there isn't you can make any choice.
I know. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working through the scary parts of it so that I can just trust myself and take the leap, you know?
Yeah. When do you, here's my question to you, somebody who is a deep thinker, when do you make your decisions? How do you make your decisions and then use your thinking within the decision? Like, when does that time come?
You know, I feel that a lot of the decisions I've made have really kind of come back to me in some way. Positively. I really feel that, and again, this is very much going off of what I shared earlier about, you know, those moments that I have alone where I'm either alone in my room or every summer when we go back to the beach, and this has probably been since I was 16, I'll sit on the beach at nighttime alone with a journal, and I'm just writing down whatever's on my heart. It could be the good, the bad, what my hopes and my dreams are. And I feel in the last probably 5-6 years since COVID that continuous ritual has put me in a place of getting to the next steps in
what way?
Of just having those conversations with myself. I end up having these conversations with a wider, something much bigger. And I've seen how the path is just kind of forged in a way. So getting back to kind of, you know, with right now, I think that will continue to be how I navigate, is really sitting with myself and writing it down. I feel writing is probably the part that I don't talk about often. I've opened up to it a lot more since being in school, but that's where I'm able to kind of figure things out a little bit more, where it's not so in my head.
Yeah. And you can reference it.
Yeah. I just, when I go back and I read things from, my gosh, a year ago, 2, 3, 5 years ago, I'm always just like, oh my gosh, like look where I was, look where I am now. So
unpack that, right? As a human, like as an individual growth, is that what you're saying? Like, look where I am. Or do you just are you just wowed by like, oh wow, that's how I was thinking then, and this is what I'm thinking now?
Oh yeah, no, I kind of look at like sense of self.
Sense of self.
Yes, and just, you know, where my mindset was at one point in life, what was happening in that point in my life, and like now getting to a place where it has become such a practice of just also in a way manifesting. You know, I think when I continuously have that ritual of writing things down and pretty much praying. I know it sounds what it sounds like, but that's really kind of where it's grounded me.
I'm going to tap into that real quick, because regardless of your religion, your beliefs, your anything, right? It's like, I view the idea of religion and faith, you know, as, or let's say conversation with God, right? Whatever you want to call it.
Of course.
I view it because it feels right. So everybody has their own thoughts, right? So because it feels right for me, this is how I view it. I view it as like, when I do think things through, when I do think, you gotta know, I feel the energy of my decision, good or bad.
Yeah.
I know when I'm making a bad decision. I know when I'm making a good decision. I feel it.
Yeah.
So, and how I view the idea of God, even the devil, like let's say both sides of it, good, evil, however you want to. I think people don't enough, because I remember not thinking so much about it, but I think people don't enough pay attention to or give credence to that battle that we look as an external thing, God versus the devil, good versus evil. No, it is like, it's within you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna if you're gonna fight against what you know is best for you, you're usually doing it
out of fear. For me,
sure.
For me, yes.
And also for you, because you've been there too, and I'm the same way. But like we've talked about this a bunch. It's like know when to say no.
Oh.
To friends, to opportunities that have no
people pleasing.
Yeah, people pleasing. Yeah, and like sometimes we are just looking for an escape. So you're like you get invited to a concert or whatever. Like of course I want to go to a concert.
You balance, finding the balance.
To find a balance because
Absolutely.
the excitement of that, right? But like I think that's a real slept on topic. I think people look at things very surface level, how we're taught. It is, and I really do believe no matter what. They all teach the same things. It is the battle of good and evil, which is almost like literally what you feel every time you make a conscious decision to do anything in life.
Yep.
And so what I do fear for you, is when, and correct me if I'm answer this. When do you, if you're going to have ambitions occupationally, personally, financially, where you want to live, things that do come with external physical things, when do you make that decision to, okay, this is exactly what I want to do and I'm ready to navigate that? When do you do that?
I think right now.
You're doing it now.
I think it's happening right now. I haven't quite made the decision, but me coming up with what the next path is going to be, it's happening right now. And it's happening so much more now out of clarity than it is out of fear. So
that's huge.
I'm really sitting with that part of it because prior to school, I think a lot of things were out of fear. And I think my awareness now that a lot of the choices I've made have been out of fear has brought me to this place of feeling good about making the decision to move forward now with whatever my desires are.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing.
And to make it easier for you, and I've said this to you before, but like when you make a decision, that decision isn't like, do or die, decision, and I hope it works.
Sure.
Every time I've made a conscious decision to make a stab at something, actually go chase it.
Yeah.
Right? The chase has given me opportunities that come because I took the initiative and the opportunity, and ran with it.
Yeah.
Even if I shift gears, I'm honest about the shift.
Yeah,
I'm honest about what I'm feeling, like, things, and I'll veer, I've done it to a fault in many occasions, but like, if something feels right, the start is what actually allows you to constantly navigate. And you've done it. So be fair, like going back to, you getting your master's. I mean, to me, that was like a huge thing because you made a conscious decision.
Oh yeah.
That at the time when you made the decision, I was like, you sure?
Everybody was like, I think everybody was asking that because
it's time, it's energy, it's school, but you proved it was the right decision.
Oh, it was probably the most disciplined and grounded I've probably been throughout my life.
I can agree with that.
And I think that's partially why, like right now, I'm feeling such a grief.
Yeah.
Because now I have to take everything that I've just learned and that has just come up for me and how to move forward with it. And there is the fear of that because, I'm trying to navigate that, but there's also, I think my awareness of it now versus before when I would be probably a little reactionary on it.
Yeah.
I think that's
out of frustration though.
Yeah. And I think that's really going to make all the difference.
Yeah.
But earlier when I kind of went off on a little bit of a circle there, but I think a lot of the choices that I've made too, and this is going to sound maybe a little bit woo woo, but this is all in the realm. Once right before grad school began, I started having some really intense dreams, and they continued throughout my time at school, whether it was me just dreams in my sleeping or in my meditations and visualizations. They were super intense that they ended up almost in their own way being like, they were roadmaps for me to get to something else. And I would just be like, aha. And it's funny because when we start the program, they our professors say, whatever plan that you have, just go with whatever comes to you. Like, everybody comes in with a plan, but see what comes up for you and go in that direction. And I really leaned into that. And it was so extraordinary to see, one, what direction I was going in, but how I was connecting to so many different realms of life, both within myself or in the spirit world. It just became really, I think that has also helped me in gaining clarity and how to take initiatives into moving forward and feeling a sense of peace and calm.
No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's the only way to think. Because the external stuff, like the amount of times that we are all as people going to be chopped down, hurt, affected. It's not always just, hey, I made a decision and it didn't work out. Like, a lot of these things are external. A lot of these things are because it's attached to people. People make terrible decisions that are going to affect you. People are going to be assholes. People are going to be, they're not going to be all you thought it was going to be. The job isn't what you thought it was going to be. The whatever and so, like, those are not in your control. Those aren't in your control. How you react is 100% in your control, but you can only control what you can control. I mean, it's been a topic here a bunch with people. Control the controllables. Like, literally stay in control of what you can control and learn how to navigate and be patient and respond to the things you can't.
I think you gotta let it go and accept too.
No matter what, literally no matter what.
You peace.
Correct. And the letdowns, they hurt. The letdowns, they're troublesome. Sometimes we just we keep riding on this same ride because it's comfortable, even though we're not happy, like we all to some degree do it. And, when we're on our deathbed down the road, like, we're never going to look back and say to ourselves, money. Like, we're going to look back and be like, what didn't we, like, oh man, I wish or I'm thankful for, or whatever. You're going to look at things spiritually. You're going to look at things very,
the people, the places,
all of that is really what you're going to walk away with. I can only imagine, I couldn't imagine having a kid would, the only thing money wise would be like, how is he set up?
Of course.
That's like,
that's it.
Other than that.
Yeah.
100%. It's it. So, yeah, I mean, it's life is difficult. Life is as difficult as it is easy. We make it difficult. We make it more difficult than we have to, but we also are subjected to our circumstances, which could be very difficult.
The hands were dealt.
How your hands are dealt. If you really look at it on a macro level, how lucky and blessed we are, regardless of how much money, because we talked a little bit about our childhood. Like, we grew up in Westwood. I have really come to the conclusion, like, how much I realize now, how much I didn't understand and took for granted what mom and dad did. Coming from West Patterson, coming from Wayne, really tumultuous upbringings, and like a lot of shit, that nobody fucking knows.
Yep.
And, obviously it was brought into a household and,
and we are the products.
And we are the products. But, they did it like, I've had, and we both have had these conversations with both of them, especially mom, because she's a little bit more headsy, but, you guys should be proud.
Oh,
like you the goal as a parent, and especially now, is to be like, I want them to be in good. I want them to have more than I had, and I want them to be better than myself.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you guys did a fucking really good job. Remove all of the the money and the this and the that, which I get. It's frustrating,
of
right?
Course, yeah.
If you're choosing to compare, really, that's the only reason that you're even worked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's much more simple than we as a people make it out to be.
One of the biggest things, it's funny because every time I go and I talk with, somebody, if I talk I'll just put it this way. If I go for like a tarot or a psychic, anything, generational stuff always comes up. And something I think I've also like trying to navigate a little bit. And what I've come to realize, and I think it took a little while, but at a certain point, I think this is also the beauty of still being with mom and dad. There's a lot of healing that has come with just my relationship with them. And also recognizing that mom and dad are just as much as they are our parents. And yes, they're the ones that raised us and brought us into this world, but they're going through life for their first time. It's the same way that we are. And that's the same way that their parents were. And I think that's the part of the generational trauma that I think keeps coming up for me, because it's my awareness of that. Everybody's got things going on. And what's the point of comparing? Because it's not, it
depends what matters to you. And like people will compare because they're not at the level of not intellect, the level of spirituality that we might be, where we think we put all like that folds into what I actually do physically or for my work or whatever. Like I use my spirituality within the, and I don't know if everybody does that. I think a lot of people do look at it like, money's the most important thing, or the way I look is the most important thing, or the car I drive is the most important thing, or the house is.
What they value.
Whatever fills your void.
Yes.
That doesn't bother me.
Not at all.
But if you're going to go tit for tat and toe to toe with me on the topic, the second you use those materialistic things and fold that into our argument or back and forth, not argument, but our back and forth, I already know.
Yeah.
What that there's levels to understanding.
Yeah.
Because that you're only using that because you can.
Yeah.
And to cut deep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it took a little while for me to really understand that, where mom and dad are concerned and our relationship with them. And I think this goes for anybody, but we're all going through life.
Everybody.
For our first time, no matter what level of life we're on. It's levels. Every decade, every year is a level. You're just leveling up. And so I think that has helped me in giving grace across the board with humans in its entirety.
It's huge.
Just giving grace, and also, again, into my cup, but like giving grace to myself.
Yeah.
I
being
think that
proud of yourself.
100%.
Yeah, you should be proud, Jade. You should be like nothing but proud. And as chaotic and hedgy as it might be at times, but when you are alone, or you're going through the motions of life, like if there was a checklist of all the things that you would want to be, everything across the board, I'm not talking job and all that stuff. I'm talking about like as a human, like you check a lot of boxes. Right. And that's something to be proud of, who you are as a human, who you are as a person, your transparency, your honesty, your willingness to admit, when you are wrong, and we struggle with that in the moment, both of us, where it's like, we'll get worked up, but we can even to look back and be, transparent about, hey, I fucked up, or I was wrong. I thought about it, like you check off very important boxes when it comes to like reputation, how people perceive you as a human, not the comparative stuff in regards to your life. And that's why, when friends say, what are you doing next? It's why it always bothers me because it's usually attached to job.
Sure.
What are you doing next?
Yeah. I think at this point I've also figured out when that question comes up, who's asking it.
Well, that matters.
And
that's important.
And it does make all the difference.
It does make a big difference.
I can tell. Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. We have. I didn't charge the camera. I'm just gonna say it.
No, it's okay.
But we have a show. Listen, this was super spontaneous. We're gonna be down the shore together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the setup. We're gonna continue the conversation. We're going to bring mom and dad into it for sure, depending on who and what. We'll see how it goes, but I would like to.
It would be great. I think it would be so fun.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Little round table.
Yeah,
we'll do great. It. I have to go to the dentist. So do you, actually.
I have an appointment as well.
Yeah.
Just an appointment.
Jade, I love you. Let's do this more. I mean, whenever you want to come in and talk, like honestly, this could be a constant thing where it's just like, hey, let's share who we are, experiences. What's going on this month? What's going on next month? Maybe it's something
absolutely
people will appreciate it. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so open to this. I love you.
I love you.
And I don't think that I say this enough as well, but you really did pave a path for me in life. and you made it really easy.
Oh.
And so I'm just always grateful for you, Max, my brother.
Max, my brother. Not Robbie.
You are Robbie. That's just that's part of you.
It's part of me.
Yeah.
Part of me. No, I love you.
You too.
Till next time. Till we're down the shore.
Beach week.
Beach week. Let's fucking go. I'm jacked up about it. Actually. I really am. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, I love it down there.
Yeah, it's happening.
All right, we did it. I hope that was good.
It was good.
Yeah? I rambled a couple times.
I rambled too.
It's all right.
I love you.
Too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
Just doing what time